Sergio Ruiz photographs his children, Sergio Jr., Christian and Diego, at the StubHub Center, new home of the Chargers. Robert Gauthier, Los Angeles Times. It's a move that's still being debated. But believing their options for a new stadium were gone in San Diego, the NFL's Chargers announced they were moving to Los Angeles and will eventually share the new stadium in Inglewood with the Rams. It hasn't been pretty, though. Interest in the team has been low, and even the temporary stadium at StubHub Center has had trouble filling its 27,000 seats. But there is a cure, and that's to win more games. Magic Johnson became head of basketball operations and Rob Pelinka was named general manager. Wally Scallage, Los Angeles Times. After 6 seasons with the Clippers, Chris Paul was traded to the Houston Rockets in June. Wally Scallage, Los Angeles Times. The Clippers were always on the verge of greatness. They had, arguably, 3 of the best players in the NBA, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. But they could never get out of the second round of the playoffs. Paul couldn't take that anymore. He didn't like the chemistry and culture of the team. He quarreled with coach Doc Rivers. So, almost as if it happened in a flash, Paul was traded to the Houston Rockets in June. And with it, the Clippers were headed for an inevitable rebuilding of the team. Floyd Mayweather Jr., right, strikes Conor McGregor. Christian Peterson. Getty Images. Somewhere P.T. Barnum is smiling. In one of the best marketing efforts ever foisted on the sporting world, fans were enthralled at the idea that an old legendary boxer meeting a young MMA fighter with no boxing experience could bring a $100 pay-per-view buy. But it worked. Floyd Mayweather beat Conor McGregor by technical knockout in the 10th round. The August fight had about 4.4 million pay-per-view buys, although one of the promoters later said it was more than 6 million. Exaggeration in these sports could never happen. Mayor Eric Garcetti, right, and Casey Wasserman, chairman of the LA 2028 committee. Alan J. Shabrin, Los Angeles Times. Los Angeles' journey to being awarded the Olympic Games for a 3rd time was very much a roller coaster ride. First Boston was given the U.S. bid, but the city backed out. L.A. was there but then had to go up against a very strong Paris bid for the 2024 Games. Fearing it would get nothing, the LA bid committee cut a deal with the International Olympic Committee to get the 2028 Games, which were awarded in September. So the 11-year wait begins. Colin Kaepernick, center, takes a knee during the national anthem before a 2016 game. Many NFL players followed his lead in 2017. Marcio Jose Sanchez, Associated Press. Houston Texans teammates joined in solidarity during the anthem before a game this year. Otto Gruel Jr. Getty Images. President Trump said in September that NFL owners should fire players who sit or take a knee during the national anthem, in reaction to a movement started by Colin Kaepernick. What followed was a weekend plus of protests by players, coaches and some owners to show their solidarity against the attack on the NFL. The issue was actually rather minor until it was escalated by the president, who continued his attacks. Things have quieted now as the league contemplates keeping the teams in the locker room during the national anthem. USC head basketball coach Andy Enfield and former assistant coach Tony Bland. Ethan Miller. Getty Images. This story will probably be bigger in 2018, but when the FBI charged 10 assistant basketball coaches, including USC's Tony Bland, in an investigation of fraud and corruption in college basketball, the sport was rocked by more of what's to come than what just happened. The FBI is looking into the unsavory way some players are acquired and shopped. Among the first major casualties was legendary Louisville coach Rick Pitino, who was fired without being charged. Christian Pulisic of the U.S. reacts after his team's loss to Trinidad and Tobago. Ashley Ellen. Getty Images. The U.S. men's soccer team had been to 7 straight World Cups, and all it had to do was beat Trinidad Tobago, a country whose population is about 1,325th as large. But they couldn't do it, losing 21, eliminating them from next year's World Cup in Russia. After the loss, coach Bruce Arena resigned. He had replaced Jurgen Klinsmann in 2016. Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw leaves the mound after a relief appearance in Game 7 of the World Series, won by the Houston Astros. Alan J. Shabrin, Los Angeles Times. It was a story 29 years in the making. The Dodgers returned to the World Series for the first time since 1988. What transpired was one of the wildest, most exciting World Series in history. However, the Dodgers went down in 7 games, losing the last 51 to the Houston Astros. It was an unsatisfying ending to a season in which the Dodgers won 104 games, the most in baseball. It also saw Cody Bellinger hit a rookie record 39 regular season home runs. Jim Mora was fired as Bruins football coach. Elaine Thompson, Associated Press. UCLA Athletic Director Dan Guerrero, left, introduces new coach Chip Kelly. Luis Cinco. Los Angeles Times. Brothers Lonzo, LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball with their father, LeVar Ball. Joshua Blanchard. Getty Images. Where do you start? With LeVar Ball, of course. The outspoken father of Lonzo, LiAngelo and LaMelo has become a media sensation with his constant chatter about the greatness of his sons and his shoe brand. Lonzo became the Lakers' top pick and tore up the summer league. The real season has been more difficult. Meanwhile, UCLA freshman LiAngelo Ball was arrested in China, along with 2 of his teammates, for shoplifting. President Trump took credit for getting the trio out of jail and back home, and then got into a very public spat with LeVar Ball over his efforts. LeVar Ball reportedly sent POTUS a pair of his signature brand shoes as a peace offering. A few days later, he announced that he was withdrawing LiAngelo Ball from UCLA. Copyright 2017, Los Angeles Times.